이번 주에도 어김없이 돌아온 고품격 한국어 영어 팟캐스트 하프앤하프의 정태웅입니다. 반갑습니다.
And I'm Jeep. Welcome to Half and Half. And we're going to talk about a topic in English and Korean. Hope you can follow along, learn some things. I think this will be a pretty easy topic, or we can kind of make it easy, I think.
맞아요.
So, radio.
네, 라디오.
Yeah, the pronunciation's different, but I'm pretty sure these are almost exactly the same concept in English and Korean. I will say this. I almost always talk about where a word came from before, it had some usage. So radio
네.
comes from the word radiation.
아, 그렇죠.
Radiation. So radiation is like the energy waves coming from light, right? Like the sun or, any any kind of light.
아, 그게 전부 다 레디에이션이에요?
That's radiation. Radiation waves, right?
아, 그 방사선으로만 알고 있었어요, 저는.
That's yeah.
그게 맞나?
But so radiation is that energy that's coming out of, everything, like the sun especially.
네. 아, 그렇구나.
Yeah. And so radio, when we say radio these days, we're just talking about very specific frequency. So
네.
so there's slow frequencies and there's fast frequencies, right?
네, 네.
So there's two main frequencies for radio. One is AM. Oh, this isn't frequencies.
FM 그건가?
And
아,
FM.
다른 거예요?
Yeah. I just realized that, okay, so AM is amplitude modulation.
네.
I said this episode was going to be easy. I was so wrong. And then FM is frequency modulation.
오,
Okay.
오.
So
네,
amplitude
오케이.
is the size of the wave, right? So you have small amplitude
이 파장의 크기.
and then you have big amplitude, right?
네, 그쵸.
And then frequency modulation means that you
그
have
속도.
yeah,
속도.
exactly.
네.
You have slow frequencies and then you have
가거나.
fast frequencies, right?
그쵸. 이렇게.
Yeah. So anyway, AM and FM radio, one changes the amplitude to make the sound differences or make the data information.
그래요?
Yeah.
Oh?
So you have
네.
low amplitude and high amplitude. By changing that's how you make the data inside the waves. And then frequency modulation is you're changing the speed. So you have slow speed and fast speed. And changing that makes the data difference. So
그 우리가 보통 뭐 자동차나
Yeah.
그 그냥 편하게 듣는 라디오는 보통 FM 라디오 아니에요?
That's right. Yeah. So radio technology originally used AM, and then later FM was developed because it's more high quality. It's I'm trying to think of how to explain it. Using FM, you can get a better quality signal, and you can broadcast farther distances. There's just physics reasons why. I'm not a scientist, but FM you generally get better quality, basically.
아, 그렇구나.
Yeah.
그럼 혹시 그 FM은 그 이 파장의 높이가 아니라 빠르기잖아요.
Yeah, that's right.
빠르기에 따라 다르다고 했잖아요.
Yeah, that's right.
혹시 뭐 그 FM 46.9, FM 112.1 이렇게 말하는 그 뒤에 숫자가
Yeah.
그 이 파장의 속도랑 관련이 있는 거예요? 채널이?
Yeah, you're right. So within that frequency modulation, you're still choosing a band of frequency. So band is like between here and here. So like
네.
you said 92.6, but plus or
네.
minus a little bit. And then 95.3 plus or minus a
그쵸.
little bit, whatever. I'm saying random numbers, but
네.
yeah. But then there's some top end. Like the top end would be like a 115 or something. I don't know. There's some maximum amount, and then there's some minimum would be like 82.2 or something. I don't know. There's some maximum and minimum possible range.
네.
But yeah, Yeah. So for AM radio in the United States, it's often used for two reasons. One, it's used for talk shows often.
오.
So when people have discussion shows, they use AM. I think because compared to music, the quality doesn't matter as much. As long as you can understand what they're saying, it's okay. Like it doesn't have to be very high quality like for music. And then the other thing is we use it for like emergency broadcasting.
맞아요, 맞아요.
Yeah. So because usually it's more like I said, the distance isn't as good. So it's usually for more local, very specific like problems in just that area. Yeah.
그래서 그런 용도로는 AM 라디오를 많이 쓴다는 거네요.
Yeah. But usually, yeah, it's just for for the broadcast, emergency broadcast and stuff. So for example, I don't know if you have this in Korea, but I'm curious. In the USA, when we're driving some distance in some place,
네네.
there'll be a road sign, and the road sign will say emergency information on I'm picking a number, but like 800 AM or something like that. So you see the sign, you say, oh, change the radio to 800 AM, and then you listen, and it'll say traffic information, weather information, or there's some problem, or everything's okay, or something like that.
그렇구나.
Yeah.
저는 글쎄요. 제가 운전을 평소에 안 해서 정확하진 않을 수 있는데 저는 못 본 것 같아요.
Oh, you haven't
표지판에서.
seen a sign like that.
네,
Okay.
제가 알기론.
Okay.
근데 또 미국은 한국보다 엄청 넓잖아요. 캐나다랑 미국은.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's
그런-
probably
그런
one of the
영향이-
differences. Yeah.
예. 아마 우리나라보다 더 큰 미국의 한 주도 있을 텐데
Right.
좀 그래서 그런 게 필요할 수도 있을 것 같고요.
Right. But yeah, because even now these days in the USA, there's some areas where there's no cell phone coverage. There's no cell phone. There's no internet. So if you go to like a very remote, like nobody's there kind of place, and you're driving, there's no cell phone, but you still maybe need some information about weather or traffic problems or something like that. And so they use AM radio.
그런 데가 있어요?
Yeah, really.
그 사람 살아요? 그런 데도?
Well, I mean, maybe a few people live there, but it's like a desert or mountains or forest or places like that. Like especially in national parks and things like that. There's just nothing. Yeah.
맞네. 그런 곳들 나라가 워낙 넓으니까.
Yeah.
그렇구나.
So anyway, that's AM/FM. Yeah, go ahead.
근데 저는 아까 찌프가 얘기해준 그 AM 라디오의 주된 용도 두 개 중에 그 비상사태용으로 그 비상 상황에서 쓸 용으로 라디오가 꼭 필요한 것 같더라고요.
Yeah, you don't really need it.
아니요, 필요한 것 같아요.
Oh,
필요한
you
것
do
같아요.
need it, is what you're saying.
네네, 제 생각에.
Okay. Yeah, I guess because maybe if there's power outage or I don't know. Like I'm not sure.
네.
It's hard to
아니,
think about the reason.
그 왜냐면은
Sure.
이 2000년대 우리 사람들은
Mm-hmm.
만약에 핸드폰 안 되고 인터넷 안 되면
Mm-hmm.
우리들 진짜 다 바보 될 걸요?
Right.
뭐 무슨 일이 벌어지고 있는지 만약에 뭐 카톡도 안 되고
Right.
막 크롬 뭐 사파리 이런 거
Mhm.
네이버 구글 안 되면 그 사람 미칠 것 같은데
Right.
그럴 때 라디오는 되잖아요. 인터넷이 안 돼도.
Yeah, if everything else is failing, there's no internet or some service is having problems, you can at least still get information from the radio.
네.
If there was
네.
some like typhoons or earthquakes or some disaster situation, you still have radio.
그래서 막
Yeah.
재난 영화 막 재난 드라마 영화 같은 거 보면
Yeah.
꼭 라디오로 막 치직치직하고 막 그 구조 메시지 막 듣고
Right.
막 뭐 무슨 운동장으로 오시면 우리는 음식과 뭐 잘 곳이 있습니다. 이런 안내 방송 듣고 막 갈 수도 있잖아요.
Right. True.
예, 근데 막 찾아가면 깽단들이 있을 수도 있고.
Right.
그래서 라디오가 하나쯤은 안 써도 필요하겠는데 이런 생각을 저도 합니다.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, in some places that I've lived, they have what's called radio clubs. Do you have this in Korea? Radio club?
그게 뭐예요?
Radio club, at least in our culture, is not very many people do this. It's a very specialized club, but people will go to learn how to build and operate radios,
아,
like radio broadcasts or radio receivers, or both.
오, 그거 저 들어가고 싶어요.
You want to do that? Yeah, I think it would be interesting. I've never made time for it, but yeah, you learn a little bit of science and engineering, and then if there was some emergency or some disaster, you would have the ability to like build and operate a radio. Seems useful. Yeah.
제가 왜 생각을 했냐면
Yeah.
제가 옛날에 엄청 재밌게 본 한국 웹툰 중에
Hmm?
그 무슨 막 과학 실험으로 인해 그 사람보다 큰 벌레들이
Okay.
막 지구를 점령해서
Uh-huh.
그 막 사람보다 큰 벌들이 막 많이 세상에 나와서 막 재난이 펼쳐지는 웹툰이 있거든요.
Uh-huh. Okay.
그 김규삼 작가님의 하이브라는
Hive.
네, 웹툰인데
Okay.
그래서 그 웹툰을 보면 막 진짜 막 한국이 쑥대밭이 돼요.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
막 다 망가지고 막 사람들 다 막 미치고 막 인터넷 안 되고.
Mm-hmm.
근데 그 주인공이 남자 주인공이
Mm-hmm.
그 막 공대를 나온 그막 기술을 아는 예,
What's
그런
Kongdae?
막
What's Kongdae? I don't know that
공대
word.
공과 대학교인데
Okay. Okay.
그
I
막-
see. Engineering. Yeah.
맞아요.
오케이,
예,
오케이.
기술을 배우는 대학교.
야.
아무튼 그런 걸 공부한 기술자인데
Mm.
그 무슨 HAM
Ham radio.
네네네 햄
We-
라디오를
in English, we
만들어서.
just say ham, but yeah, HAM, correct.
아 그렇구나.
Yeah.
그런 인터넷이 안 되는 상황에서 햄 라디오를 만들어서
Yeah.
그 자기 아내랑 아기랑 떨어지거든요.
Right.
막 사고가 나서.
Sure. Sure.
네, 근데 그 아내랑 그 아내도 공대를 나왔어요. 같은 학교를 나왔어요.
Uh-huh.
근데 그 알고 보니 옛날에 그 아내랑 남자 주인공이 옛날에 그 라디오 클럽 동아리였어요.
동아리. Oh, they were in a radio club together. Yeah, I see.
맞아요,
Yeah.
맞아요,
Okay.
맞아요. 그래서 그 동아리에서 햄 라디오를 같이 만들었던 거예요, 옛날에.
Mm-hmm.
그래서 막 세상이 쑥대밭이 됐는데 그 햄 라디오를 딱딱 만들어가지고
Uh-huh.
이제 딱 떨어져도 그 연락을 할 수 있는 거죠.
I see. Yeah. So, okay. So there's a webtoon, there's an alien invasion, there's a lot of disasters and people are having problems. But now, because they were in a radio club together, he can still talk to his wife, even though they're separated.
그렇죠.
Oh, okay.
그래서 나도 해야 되겠는데 싶더라고요.
I see. So the reason I was so surprised when you said webtoon is I don't remember the name of the movie, but there's some famous Korean movie where a guy has a radio and he talks to a woman in the future, I think. Like he's in the past and she's in the future and they talk to each other. And then they did a remake of that movie where I think it was the opposite, like the guy is in the future and the woman's in the past. I don't remember which. Do you know what movie?
드라마예요?
Yeah, it's a drama movie. Yeah, it's like a love story.
시그널.
No,
시그널 아니에요?
no, not that one. That's a different name. I think.
그것도 아니에요?
Maybe I'm thinking of it. It has an English name, but basically, like they're like 20 years apart. I think.
네.
And so they're talking to each other through the radio. She's at the college. He's also at the college, but it's a time travel thing. So they're talking to each other. But then like I think at the end of the movie, like 20 years later, then she meets him, but he's older or something. It's so hard to like think
그래요?
about how the time. No, she's older and he's young. But anyway,
어.
but
아니,
when they're talking at first, they don't realize that they live in different times. Like they're just talking, but like she keeps using like modern slang words that he doesn't understand. Like she's saying like "oh 대박" and things like that, and then he's like, "I don't. What does that mean, 대박?" So anyway, is it called Signal? I thought it was called something else.
아니 그러니까 제가 시그널을 안 봐서 모르겠는데
Okay,
그게 드라마예요? 영화예요?
it's a oh sorry, it is a drama movie. It's a movie, but it's,
영화죠.
it's a movie, but it's not a comedy. It's like more serious. It's a romance drama, but it's a movie.
그렇구나.
Yeah. Anyway,
전혀 모르겠네.
that's what I thought you were going to mention because I think it's a pretty famous movie.
하지만 전혀 다른 거였고요.
Yeah. Okay. I'll find the name of it, but let's see. What else was I going to say about radios? Oh yeah. So yeah. Anyway, they both at the college were in a radio club or taking a radio class at that college. So
클럽.
yeah. That type of thing.
그 드라마 영화에서 영화?
In that movie, yeah.
그렇구나.
Mm-hmm.
근데 그 생각해 보니까 좀 로맨틱한 클럽인 것 같네요.
Sure. Yeah, it could be.
예. 근데 남자밖에 없겠죠 들어가면.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, it's probably more common for men to go. Although, when I lived in Seattle, the radio club there, like I never went to it, but it was specifically in my building, in my apartment. It was a radio club for women specifically.
그렇구나.
Yeah. It's like women's radio club or something like that.
야, 멋있다.
Yeah, it's interesting.
좋습니다. 그 라디오의 원리랑 그 무전기의 원리랑 같은 건가요?
What's 무전기?
무전기 그 지직.
Oh, CB.
그건 CV라고.
Yeah, in English we call it CB. You can call it CB radio, but what does CB stand for?
워키토키 아니에요?
It's walkie-talkie is also correct, but walkie-talkie means that it has like a battery and you carry it with you. You take it somewhere. But it's a walkie-talkie CB radio. But CB, if you have it in a truck or in a car, then it's not a walkie-talkie because you don't carry it. You don't walk.
그쵸.
There's no walking.
맞아요.
So they would just be called CB.
그렇구나. 워키토키가 걸으면서 할 수 있어서
Exactly.
워키토키네요.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So when I was younger, I lived in a very, very, very small town, kind of in the mountains, in a desert. But we had a CB radio in our house, and sometimes we would just leave it on, and we could hear truckers talking to each other on the CB radio. We would just listen to them talking. It was really interesting because they would talk about like, where they're going or what types of things they were in their truck or where they were from, or just have regular conversations. But we would sometimes listen to the truckers talk to each other.
Yeah. 재밌다.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah. And I don't know. Like it wasn't too often. I would say maybe if we left it on, we would hear maybe 5 minutes of talking every hour, something like that. It was mostly just no noise, but every once in a while.
그래요?
Yeah. Yeah.
이야. 아무튼 그렇고요. 라디오.
Yeah.
이제 그러면 기술적인 이야기에서 진짜 라디오 듣는 얘기로 진짜 라디오 얘기로 가볼까요?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's funny because we're on topic, but it's so far off of like we're anything like I don't know. It's so hard to explain. We're not talking about like how people actually use the radio. We're just talking about the science and the engineering part. So let's talk about culture a little bit. Do you listen to radio ever?
근데 요즘은 안 듣죠.
Yeah.
요즘은 들을 일이 하나도 없는 것 같은데.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
예.
Me neither. But go ahead.
근데
Yeah.
근데 그거는 제가 운전을 안 해서 그런 것 같아요.
When you drive, you do listen to radio. Is that what you're saying?
그렇지 않을까요?
Oh, you don't.
아니 그러니까 제가 지금은 운전을 안 하기 때문에
Mm-hmm.
아예 운전을 안 하는데
Okay. When you're not driving.
근데 지금은
Mm-hmm.
운전을 제가 안
Oh,
하는데
I see. These days, you don't do much driving at all.
네네네.
Okay. I see.
근데 이제 나중에 운전을 자주 하게 되면
Mm-hmm.
그때는 만약에 뭐 장거리 운전을 한다거나
Mm-hmm.
할 때 그때 라디오 틀기 좋을 것 같아요.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's pretty convenient in the car to just listen to radio. And definitely if I'm ever in a taxi or I'm in an Uber, they are usually listening to radio. So
그렇죠.
yeah. But yeah, like I don't know. A long time ago, I had a janitor job. I worked as a janitor, like sweeping in a factory,
네.
late at night by myself, basically. And so while I was doing that, I would listen to radio for the whole time almost, maybe like 5 or 6 hours, like just while I was working. And for me, like, it was a good way to discover new music or new music artists because they would just play different things all the time. And so I could listen, and if I heard something I like, I would be like, oh, I'd write down the name of who's that artist, and then I could go look them up later. So it was kind of like, Pandora or Spotify, like, that they have these days, or even YouTube, where you can discover new music. But that was really the only way to hear and discover new music was through the radio, right? So yeah.
즐겨 듣던 라디오 채널 뭐 기억나는 거 있어요?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was when I lived in Seattle and listened a lot, it was called KEXP.
KEXP. 네.
Mm-hmm. And it's an independent radio station. So it's like independently funded, basically, and it's local to just that area. And so it's funded by donations from listeners. So anybody listening can donate. And then they also did some sponsorship type things, like local businesses would pay for ads and things like that. But the ads were usually what we call ad read, where the DJ would read the ad. They would say, you can go to this business and get this deal on this day, blah, 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 that kind of thing. But KEXP, it's not really huge, but it's a little bit famous because I'm trying to think how to say this. Because it's independent and they play a lot of like really good indie music, and they help support indie artists.
네.
They also do like special concerts with those independent artists, like live concerts on the radio. And so people all over the United States will, on YouTube or on the internet, they'll listen to KEXP, even though it's a Seattle channel. Yeah.
오, 되게 트렌디하게 좀 음악을 좀 잘하는 채널이었네요.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
저도 20대 초반에 그 한창 음악 만드는 거에 취미를 들여서 그 막 비트 메이킹 뭐 이런 거 하는 거에 재미가 들려서 그걸 엄청 열심히 했거든요. 근데 이제 그거를 더 잘하고 싶었는데 더 잘하려면 좋은 음악을 많이 들어야겠더라고요.
Yeah, true. Yeah. If you want to make good music, you have to listen to good music.
그렇죠.
Yeah.
근데 그때는 막 뭐 애플 뮤직에 뭐 플레이리스트 뭐 추천 이런 게 없었고 저는 그래서 BBC 라디오 1을 좀 자주 들었어요.
Yeah, that's also very famous everywhere in the world. Yeah.
네.
Yeah.
그 BBC 라디오 1 틀면 진짜 모든 노래가 다 좋더라고요.
Definitely. Same here.
네.
Yeah.
딱 그 시점에 가장 그 뭔가 핫하고 가장 트렌디하고
Mm-hmm.
그 가장 좋은 음악들만 고르고 골라서 계속 하루 종일 틀어주니까
Mm-hmm.
야 그거 진짜 좋더라고요.
Definitely. Yeah, I wonder, BBC One, I wonder if it's the most famous or most popular radio station in the world. It might be, but I'm not sure. It's definitely very, very famous. Yeah.
거의 그런 것 같은데.
Yeah.
네.
Um,
BBC 라디오 원
mhm.
이센셜 믹스 많이 들었어요.
Yeah, yeah. Same here.
네,
Yeah.
진짜.
That's cool. But yeah, KEXP, their live concerts, every once in a while, I actually have seen a few Korean artists do live shows on KEXP. So,
진짜요?
yeah, one that's very famous. I don't know if this band is famous or not, but it's called Sing Sing. Do you know Sing Sing? I don't know if you know. Okay. There's this band called Sing Sing, and they do a very unusual style of music. They do like very traditional Korean style music. What do you call it? It's like, is it
국악?
kugak? Yeah. Is it kugak? I think maybe. Yeah, like traditional singing style. Pansori.
판소리.
They do
네,
like
네.
pansori, but it's combined with modern style music also. So it's kind of like a mix of like hip hop and pansori. But they have a live. They've done a live concert on KEXP that's like very famous. Like many people have watched it because it's like the way that they dress, like their clothes, is also very like unusual, very strange, and so
네.
they're like a very fun band to watch. They do a lot of dancing and like they're very kind of surprising. You gotta look them up. Sing Sing.
싱싱이요?
Sing Sing. Yeah, I think it's what it's.
싱싱 밴드.
I think so. Yeah.
와, 거의 한 10년 전에 만들어진 밴드네요.
Yeah, they've been around for about 10 years, I think. Yeah.
와.
So, but anyway, that's one band that was on KEXP that was very famous. Anyway.
그 무슨 그 오피스 그 라이브 하는 유튜브 채널 거기도 나왔었네요.
Right. So
Tiny Desk Concert.
that's right. They call it Tiny Desk Concert. So
네,
it's
네.
in the radio station. The radio station is small, but the band is all in that very small radio station
맞아요.
playing. So yeah, they call it the Tiny Desk. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
전 그렇게 한국 밴드도 나왔었고.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question.
네, 네.
There's two phrases in English that are maybe related to radio, specifically radio DJs. So one is if you listen to a radio DJ or a radio talk show for, many years, for example,
네.
you've heard that person's voice for a very long time. You're very familiar with their voice, but you've never seen their face maybe, right? Like maybe
네.
you've never seen a picture of that person.
네.
So then when you see that person for the first time, either at some live event or you just see a picture, sometimes people are very surprised. Like the voice doesn't match the face. They're like, they imagined a different face for all these years and now they see it and that's what they look like. Do you have that same experience in Korea also or not? Like, I don't know.
그거는 당연한 것 같아요.
Okay. All right.
네, 모두가 느낄 수 있는 것 같아요. 그건.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I just want to check that. And the other thing is, sometimes people will say, you have a face for radio.
그건 또 무슨 말이에요?
You have a face for radio. It's an insult. It's telling that person they're very ugly. Because they shouldn't be in movies. They shouldn't be on TV. They should be on radio because they have a face for radio.
그 목소리만 나오게.
Yeah.
진짜 모욕적이네요. 그거.
So yeah, sometimes it's a joke we say. Oh, you have a face for radio. It just means you're so ugly.
어떻게 그런 말을 한국에선 절대 그런 말을 할 수 없어요.
It's just with friends. Usually, you would say something like that. Yeah. But and then the opposite. You could say you have a radio voice.
칭찬입니다. 칭찬이네요.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, compliment. It's like you have a nice, deep, or very soothing, or beautiful voice. That's like, oh, you have a radio voice for radio.
근데
Mm-hmm.
그런 라디오 진행자 같은 거 하면
Mm-hmm.
좀 좋을 것 같아요.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
네, 막 세수 안 하고 해도 상관없잖아요.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be a nice job, probably. I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine, but I think you could. Well, although I will say this, these days, radio shows, like famous radio shows, they also do video broadcast.
맞아. 보이는 라디오고.
Yeah, they do both.
맞아요. 보이는 라디오 해도 근데 막 모자 쓰고 막 하던데.
That's true. You could just wear a hat and a hoodie. Yeah. Sunglasses. You don't have to put on makeup or anything. Yeah,
네.
be comfortable. Yeah. Okay. The reason I picked this topic, I'm sure you don't know the reason, but do you know the reason why I
네.
picked this topic?
전혀 모르겠어요.
It's secretly I chose this topic so I could talk about Isora.
아,
So
이소라님의 광팬이죠, 찌프가.
yeah. I'm a huge fan. So recently, she did. So she did radio broadcasting for many years. But recently, she did a radio broadcast for maybe 5 days, like 4 or 5 days. She was on 이문세. What is it called? 안녕 이문세입니다 was the radio show, is what it's called. It's a
네.
podcast. 이문세입니다. But 이문세 went on a concert tour, and while he was away doing a tour,
네.
he had 3 guests do radio hosting, and Isora was one of the guests or one of the hosts doing the radio. So about a month ago, I got to listen to Isora do like live radio hosting again.
라이브로?
Yeah. So I was like so excited.
오, 몇 시에 했는데요?
It was in the middle of the night for me, but I don't remember what time, but just like late at night. Yeah. Yeah.
참 옛날 같았으면 그렇게 막 기대하던 라디오 그렇게 나오면 막 라이브 막 녹음하고 막 그러지 않았어요?
Right. Yeah. I guess you could record it and listen to it later.
네네.
Yeah.
아니면 나중에 또 듣고 싶어서. 네. 근데
Yeah.
이제는 그럴 필요가 없잖아요.
Well, sort of. So here's another reason I mentioned this specifically. So Isora did radio broadcasting for years. I don't know how many years, but many years. Probably hundreds of times, right? But in terms of on the internet, what I can find, like recordings from those broadcasts, I can only find like maybe 10 or 15 episodes total. Like not very many.
그래요?
Yeah, maybe the radio station recorded them, but they aren't available for me to listen to. So like if you don't record radio, then it can just disappear. Like maybe those episodes are completely gone. I don't know.
맞아요. 네, 맞아요.
So yeah, that's another reason it was exciting for me to listen to Isora live, is because most of the old episodes are just gone. I can't find them anywhere. So yeah. So anyway.
막 팟캐스트 아카이브 이런 것도 없나 보네요.
Not that I saw. I don't think there is one. If anybody knows of this archive, please let me know. I would love to listen to those.
네, 꼭 부탁드립니다.
Yeah. But yeah, like Isora, when she does the hosting, she does a lot of, I think they call it 사연 in Korean. Is it 사연?
네, 사연 읽어주는.
Yeah.
거요.
So in English, we would just call this like listener letters or messages from the listeners or something. But basically, listeners will send in their story about anything. Some interesting story about some message they want to say, or their personal life, or whatever. Or hey, I'm a big fan. It could be anything. And she reads all those, and so that was very fun to listen to. Also, like different fans saying, different things about their life. So it's kind of cool.
한번 보내보지 그래요. 찌푸도.
Oh, me? Actually, so there's two times. So, okay, during that radio broadcast, I sent a sayon to Isora, but it didn't get read.
아, 그래요?
I tried.
하긴 뭐,
I'm
근데
sure she got way too many to read all of them. So
그쵸,
not a
그쵸.
problem.
네.
And then the other time was a couple years ago. She did a big concert. It was her 20-year anniversary concert, like 2 years ago. And I think on Instagram people could send Sayon like messages. But and they were randomly chose some, but mine didn't get picked. So yeah, but I tried. But yeah, I don't know. The thing that's interesting to me about this style, I don't know if it's common in Korea, but in American culture, I've never heard a radio talk show with that read letters like this.
아, 그래요?
Yeah, usually they would do live talk radio. Do you have this in Korean too? I assume you do, but I don't know.
아, 뭐 그것도 있죠. 라이브 토크도.
Okay, so live talk
네.
live talk radio, they would as they're doing the radio program, they would say, "This is our phone number. Call this phone number, and then we'll talk to you on the radio live."
아니 그건 흔하지 않은 것 같아요.
Oh, really? It's very, very common in the U.S. So usually there would be a topic for that day. Like they would say, it could be like some important like political issue or something, or it could be something fun. Like maybe K-Daehan, for example, like
네.
K-pop Demon Hunters just came out. They would say, today we're going to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. Call this number and tell me your favorite character or what's your favorite part of the movie or whatever. So people call and then they talk to the radio DJ for just 30 seconds maybe. They'd say, hey, K-pop Demon Hunters, that's my favorite movie, blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye. And then somebody else would call and they would talk.
그거는 흔하지 않은 것
Really?
같아요. 저는 라이브 토크라고 하길래 그냥 뭐 그 진행자들이 라이브로 그냥 이야기하는 건 줄 알았는데 그게 아니라 청취자 그 리스너랑 전화를 해서 얘기를 한다고요? 옛날엔 있었나? 요즘은 없는 것 같은데.
These days they have it too, but even a long time ago, yeah. But I mean both. It's always been very common in our culture is live talk radio, and like it's like interactive. Anybody can try to call. Yeah.
아 진짜요?
Yeah. But I mean, of course, there's a little bit of filtering. So if you call the show, first you talk to producer for that show, and they'll say, "What do you want to talk about?" And if it's some crazy person, they'll be like, "No, just hang up." But if that person actually is interesting and has something good to say, they sound like
그렇게 하는구나.
some kind of normal person. Then they say, "Okay, we'll connect you to the DJ," and then they talk. So yeah. Yeah.
근데 저는 그런 류를 옛날에 TV에서 좀 본 것 같거든요.
On TV?
네. TV 예능 프로그램 같은 곳에서
Did people call?
네, 전화하는 거를 어릴 때 본 것 같은데.
Okay.
근데 그 아무래도 막 MC나 그런 연예인 그리고 뭐 개그맨 이런 사람들이 코미디언들이 라디오를 하면서 말을 하는 것보다는 좀 일반인이 말을 좀 딱 막 이렇게 막 잘하지는 못하잖아요.
Sure, yeah, true.
그래서 뭔가 그 어색한 느낌, 그 어색한 분위기.
Yeah, it could definitely be that way where trying to do something live and improvised, especially with somebody who's just a random person calling a TV show, it can be like so awkward and difficult.
그러니까요.
Yeah. But on radio, I don't know, like because they're like it's like this type of conversation, it's just a normal conversation. It's not supposed to be really funny or really anything special. I think it's not usually that awkward in our culture when we do that.
진짜 이거 그게 진짜 문화 차이인 것 같아요.
Yeah, I think so.
네, 그렇게 딱 완전히 모르는 사람과
음.
그냥 얼굴도 모르고 그냥
음.
편하게 이야기를 하는 게
Mm-hmm.
한국은 그렇게 쉽지 않은 것 같은 느낌입니다.
Yeah, maybe so.
네.
And then there's also this because so on talk radio or live talk radio like that where people call, sometimes it can get a little bit boring, like to just have normal people talk, right?
맞아요. 네.
So they also will usually the hosts of the show will hire comedians to call the show and pretend to be somebody funny, like do some like funny voice or some kind of joke. And in those cases, sometimes you know that it's a comedian doing a joke, and sometimes you don't know. It's more like secretly it's a comedian saying something funny on the radio, but they get paid to do it. But some comedians, like stand-up comedians, will how do we say this? So they get paid to do stand-up comedy, but they also get paid to call radio shows and do characters, like character voices and things like that. Like
성대모사 같은 거요?
like pretend to be that type of person calling a radio show. But it lets them like practice and develop new character ideas that they can use maybe later in like comedy shows or in movies or different types of things. So it's like a good way for comedians to practice like telling jokes and things like that, or practice improvisation and stuff like that.
맞네요.
Yeah.
실전 연습이네요. 실전 연습.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway.
와, 아니 진짜 문화 차이가 크다고 생각드는데요. 옛날에는 한국에는요. 그 우리나라는 옛날부터 배달 음식 주문을 많이 하는 나라니까.
Okay, yeah.
막 중국집, 뭐 치킨집 이런
Yeah,
데.
yeah, you're always ordering food. Yeah.
네.
For
진짜
delivery.
옛날부터 그렇게 했는데 그 스마트폰 앱이 없을 때는 항상 전화해서 시켜야 했어요. 근데 그 전화하는 게 무섭다고 하는 사람들이 엄청 많았어요.
I'm one of them. I don't like using the phone.
그래요?
Yeah, I hate using the phone.
그렇구나.
Yeah.
네, 근데 그렇게 막 뭐 갖다 주세요라고 말하는 것도 무서운데 라디오에
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's
K-pop 데모노터스 너무 좋아요 이렇게 막 쉽지 않을 텐데.
Yeah, the people who call radio shows are definitely. I feel like they have a outgoing personality, like extroverted kind of personality.
네.
What was I going to say though? Oh yeah, the other thing.
네.
So I know that in Korean radio they also take requests. Like people will say, "Oh, please play this song," or
맞아요.
like requests.
신청곡.
That's right. Yeah, requested songs. But like a long time ago, before the internet, people would call the radio station and say, "Please play this song." Like they would call.
전화해서요?
Yeah. They would call on the phone, like,
우와.
"Hey, can you please play my favorite song?" Blah blah blah, and then hang up.
와. 근데 와 낭만이다.
Yeah, it's nice.
와.
But like sometimes when they requested songs, they would say the reason. Like they would say, "Oh, this is me and my wife's wedding song. Can you please play it? Because it's our anniversary." Or they'd say, "It's my friend's birthday. Can you play this song for my friend?" But then what they would do is the radio DJ right before the song starts, you would hear the caller saying, "Hey, it's my friend's birthday. Can you please play this song?" And then the song would start right after. So you hear the request and then you hear the song.
그렇게 바로 네.
Yeah.
오. 진짜 낭만인데요.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like kind of a romantic sort of thing. Like
네.
Yeah.
그게 좀 뭔가 그 인간에게 사회적으로 좀 더 만족감을 주는 행동인 것 같아요. 엄청.
Yeah, I think so.
네. 딱 그게 저만 듣는 라디오가 아니니까 막 몇십 명, 몇백 명이 듣고 있을 수 있는 라디오인데 내가 부탁해서 내가 좋아하는 노래를 틀어서 이 많은 다른 사람들이 다 듣게 하는 거잖아요.
That's right. That's right. There's a community of everybody's listening at the same time and
네.
can also sort of interact and share what they want to hear and things like that.
네, 네. 이제 딱 내가 고른 노래로 다 듣게 하는 그 뭔가 그런 짜릿한 느낌이 좀 있을 것 같아요, 왠지.
Right, right. So yeah, so if you're listening to Spotify, everybody's listening to a different song, and you can't. I mean, you can make a request by typing and play this song, but like, it's just playing to you. It's not a message to anybody else. I don't know. So it's a very different feeling, right? It's individualistic versus community. So yeah.
옛날에 참 그런 낭만이 있었네요.
I think so.
네.
Yeah, I mean, these days, of course, radio is not very popular. Like I don't think it should be, but like there is that difference in like the type of community and the type of feeling you get from it. There is still these days, there's XM radio. Do you have XM in Korea?
XM?
XM radio?
그게 뭐예요?
Ooh, really? So I'm surprised.
XM radio?
Yeah, so we have AM, FM, XM. Have you heard of XM?
어.
Like X.
네. 네.
So I don't know what the X stands for, but it's satellite radio.
아.
So satellite radio. A lot of newer cars usually have XM radio, but it requires a subscription. So you pay per month to have XM service, I guess. So you pay per month to have XM service. And there's very, very famous talk show DJs or talk show hosts or DJs that broadcast on XM. They host shows on XM.
네,
And everybody in the world can hear the same show. I guess at the same time. I don't know. I've never really thought about XM much. But that it's kind of more of a global broadcasting because it uses satellite.
아, 그렇죠.
Yeah. But is XM not famous or popular in Korea?
전 처음 들어봐요.
Oh, really? Interesting.
네. 아, 이거 그 아는 사람들이 있을 수도 있는데 그렇게 유명한 개념은 아닌 것 같아요.
I see. Okay.
아, 위성 라디오? 위성 라디오라고 하나?
위성. I mean, that's satellite. Yeah.
위성 라디오 저 어디서 들어본 것 같기도 하고.
Yeah. And XM, I mean, it is just a brand. It's not like it's not a what do you call it? It's not a scientific category of radio. It's just a brand for satellite.
시리우스 XM.
Sirius. That's right.
시리우스 XM은 들어봤어요. 아, 그게
You have heard of
그런
that.
뜻이구나.
Oh, okay. Right. I forgot that it was called
그렇게.
Sirius also. Yeah.
아니 저는 그 인터넷으로만 봐서 그래서 그런 라디오였던 줄은 몰랐네요.
Yeah, you can listen to it on the internet also. I don't know if you need a subscription on the internet too, or if it's free, but yeah. But yeah, it has very good quality. It has hundreds of channels, and the channels are usually more specific, like plays only this genre of music all day, every day. And then a different channel plays only rock, and then a different channel plays only classical, like things like that.
네. 그렇구나.
Yeah.
라디오. 그래서 지프는 요즘에는 또 듣는 게 있어요?
No. I'm trying to think. So the only times I listen to the radio would be if I'm on a long road trip and I'm driving, like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour road trip. And if I just want to listen to random music, I'm like, I don't know what I want to listen to, just anything. Then I'll turn on the radio. But it's really frustrating for me because there's so many advertisements that you hear like one song and then an ad, and then one song and then an ad. And so it gets kind of annoying because there's so many advertisements, and it makes me want to, like, whenever an ad starts, change the station, and then
네.
you listen to half of a song, and then an ad starts. You change the station, you hear half of a song. So it's really frustrating.
그래요?
Yeah, there's too many ads. Yeah.
그럼 우리가 보통 팟캐스트 한 에피소드 하면 한 1시간 하잖아요. 만약에 우리 팟캐스트에 광고가 들어온다.
Yeah.
그러면은 한 얼마나 해야 될까요, 광고를?
Oh, how long would be too long for an ad? In my opinion, like 20 seconds is about the maximum I can take an ad. Yeah.
너무 짧은 거 아니에요?
Yeah, very short.
아니, 한 줄도 모르겠는데 그러면?
Yeah, I have a very short attention span for ads. Like I just honestly, if I don't want to change the channel on the radio when an ad starts, I'll just turn the volume off. I'll just completely silent. I'll wait 3 minutes and then I'll turn it back up because I just don't want to hear it.
근데 저도 그래요. 저는 라디오는 아닌데 그 유튜브 볼 때 광고 나오면 그 음소거 해요.
Yeah, turn off the volume. Yeah, same here.
네.
But yeah, 20 seconds, that's about my maximum. Yeah.
좋습니다. 참고할게요.
Yeah.
그 GTA 5 있잖아요.
Yeah. Oh, right. Very good topic. Go ahead.
그래요?
Yeah, go ahead.
아니 GTA 5 뭐 GTA 시리즈에서 다
Yeah.
그 되게 자동차를 타고 운전하는 게 되게 좀 게임에서 큰 역할을 차지하잖아요.
Yeah, absolutely.
근데 저는 그 GTA에서 차에서 듣는 라디오가 가끔 너무 좋아서
Yeah.
근데 그냥 쉴 때 그냥 막 총 쏘고 미션 하는 게 아니라
Right.
그냥 GTA 안에서 라디오 틀고 드라이브 하는 걸 좀 했었거든요, 예전에.
Yeah. Same here.
그래요?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Because I do like driving games, and like in GTA they have like a taxi mode where if you steal a taxi, you can just pick up people and take them. But you can just drive, pick up people, listen to the radio. Yeah, totally.
네, 맞아요. 근데 GTA 5에 나오는 그 라디오 광고들은 그렇게 나쁘지 않았어요. 전 좋았어요.
Yeah, true. Because they're like comedy usually. They're like jokes.
그쵸.
Yeah.
맞아요. 광고들을 좀 웃기게 만들어서.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so GTA 3, I'll start with there because that's the first thing. 3D one, but GTA 3 all of the I think all of the music was original and all of the ads were original. The ads were like jokes, right? Like they were like kind of parody type jokes.
네.
But the music was also sort of parody for the most part. Like it would be sort of parodies of real rock songs or parodies of like blues and jazz and things like that. But then when the series got more famous, like for GTA, I guess Vice City probably was the next one.
네.
They started using soundtracks from existing real songs. But the ads were still like comedy, like parody.
맞아요.
Yeah, talk shows and stuff.
네.
Yeah, but yeah, it adds a lot to the game. Like, because the radio host, like, in doing the ads or doing the talk shows in the game, is talking about that city, like Vice City or whatever city you're in the game, and so you get to hear like news stories about the crime that's happening or things that you did or characters in that story, and it's a really, really, really good way. Because when you're driving, you can also listen at the same time. It's like a really good way to like convey information in the game. I think that's a really cool feature. Yeah.
맞아요.
Yeah.
그 얘기 듣고 나니까 지역 라디오 DJ 이런 거 진짜 재밌을 것 같아요.
From hell?
네?
지옥 from hell?
아니야. 지역.
지역.
로컬. 네,
right.
로컬. 지옥이 아니라 그냥 지역. 작은 지역 라디오.
Yeah.
그러면 동네에서 일어나는 일을 다 알 수 있을 것 같네요.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it definitely also creates situations where in the game you're doing a mission, you're like shooting people, you're like running, you're trying to steal something. You get in a car and then the music starts playing. And it's always random. It could be any kind of music, and sometimes like the type of music is so funny for that situation. Like, so yeah, it's great.
네, 맞아요. 그러니까 막 차 뺏어서 막 도망치는데 막 탔는데 막 되게 막 잔잔한 막 잔잔하고 편안한 음악 나올 때도 있고.
Right.
네.
Yeah, and since it's when you get in the car and it starts, it's in the middle of the song, right? Because it's like a radio broadcast. And so it feels very realistic, like you're really in that place and there's really this song. Like it's really really good style. I like that feature a lot.
네, 진짜 맞아요.
Yeah.
라디오 얘기를 하다가
Yeah.
GTA까지 했고요.
I just remembered one more thing about radio that I had forgotten about. So in GTA, I don't know if it was in GTA 3, but probably in Vice City, when a radio song starts playing, it says the name of the song, like the name of the song is written on the screen. The
맞아요,
artist
맞아요.
and the track name. So a long time ago, when we would listen to radio, you would get in your car, you'd turn on the radio, a song would be playing, and you don't know what song that is. You don't know the name of the song, you don't know the artist, right? So you have to wait maybe 30 minutes. And then the radio DJ would say, okay, the songs you listened to were this song by this artist, this song by this artist, this song by this. And then you have to kind of remember, oh yeah, okay, let me remember that.
네.
But then, I don't know when, but eventually car radios have like a digital display on the front, right? And as the radio is playing, it would display the name of the track and the name of the artist playing that at that moment on that station. Because I guess the radio station would keep up a list and they would send that list to the radio display so you could read the artist name. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know if what I'm saying sounds too obvious.
아니 그게 GTA 게임에서 말하는 거예요? 아니면 실제로 말하는 거예요?
In real life. Yeah.
아 그래요?
Yeah. In real cars in real life, they would have that digital display and display the name of the song and the artist.
그리고 라디오인데?
Yeah. On like
그렇구나.
on nice car radios. Yeah.
제가 좋은 차를 안 타봐서 그런가?
So anyway, I was just kind of thinking about like, I was trying to think if that existed before GTA or if it came after. I think it was before. I think that technology existed before GTA, and then they had the same concept. But anyway, yeah.
좋습니다.
Yeah.
라디오. 뭐 저는 그래서 라디오를 요즘은 그 실시간으로는 이제 들을 일이 거의 없고.
Yeah. It's not a lot of opportunities to listen. Yeah.
네네. 근데 그 지프처럼 저도 뭐 멀리 가야 할 때 뭐 부산에서 서울 왔다 갔다 할 때나 뭐 그럴 때쯤에는 그럴 때는 그 요새는 라디오가 팟캐스트로도 다 나오잖아요.
Right.
그래서
Yeah.
제가 뭐 가끔 예전에 예전에 듣던 라디오 찾아서 뭐 괜찮아 보이는 에피소드 몇 개 팟캐스트 에피소드로 다운 받아서 가끔씩 듣는 거 그 정도가 단 것 같아요.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, these days when I go on a long trip, my wife and I listen to audiobooks usually. So we don't listen to the radio that often.
그렇죠.
Yeah.
뭐 사실 우리도 라이브만 아니다 뿐이지 사실상 라디오 하는 사람들 아니겠습니까? 지금?
Say again? Wait, I didn't follow that. What did you say?
그러니까 그 사실상
What is that?
사실상 그 뭐
Realistically?
한국어로 네. 그러니까 사실
Yeah, real.
그러니까 뭐 practically 네, practically
Okay.
네네 그 우리가 라이브만 아니지
Right, yeah.
사실상 라디오 하는 사람들이잖아요, 지금.
Yeah, true. There is. Yeah.
그쵸, 그쵸. 뭐 물론 신청곡이나 사연은 없지만,
Yeah.
네. 네, 해보니까 어떤가요?
Yeah.
좋지 않아요, 좀?
Yeah, it could be good. Yeah, I think so.
네.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you should join a radio club, build a ham radio, and then have a pirate. We didn't talk about pirate radio stations. Do you have those in Korea?
아니요, 뭐예요? 좀
Pirate-
재밌을 것 같아요. 그거.
Have you heard of the pirate radio as a concept?
아니요.
Okay. so we talked about radio frequencies, like radio channels.
네.
When in the USA, and I'm sure in other countries, when you broadcast radio signal, you have to be registered with the government. You have to have a license to do that, right? You can't just do it. But pirate radio is no license. You just build your own radio broadcast and you broadcast music or whatever you want to anybody who listens on that channel. But of course, if you do this, number one, it's illegal. But number two, when you're broadcasting, people can find you. Like they can come to the source of the signal, right?
찾을 수 있어요?
Yeah, easily, very easily.
그렇구나.
So if you do pirate radio, you can't just stay in one location. You have to move from location to location, after a short amount of time because they can find where your pirate signal comes from. Yeah. And if they find you, then you'll probably get a fine. I don't think you go to jail, but you have to pay some fine. Yeah.
그러면은
Yeah.
뭐 밴 같은 거 타면서 하면 좋겠네요.
Exactly. Yeah. You could put it inside a van and drive around. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, I was just going to say, join the radio club, build a ham radio, and create your own pirate radio station. So that could be your hobby.
낭만 있네요.
Totally. Yeah. Or I don't know. There's also college radio. Is just you can run a radio station at a college. Like those are common.
그쵸.
Yeah.
그리고 맞아요. 그게 막 중고등학생 때부터 방송부가 있어요. 항상 학교에.
Really? Oh, we never had
방송부.
that in middle and high school. We only had it in college. Maybe it depends on the school, but in the schools I went to, we never had that.
네, 저는 중학생 때는 없었나? 고등학생 때는 있었던 것 같은데 확실히.
Oh, really?
네, 그래서 막 수업 다 끝나고 학교 학생들이 막 청소를 하거든요. 막 스스로. 막 교실을 막 닦고 막 쓸고 청소하는데 근데 뭐 방송부인 학생들은 그때 이제 방송실에서 막 무슨 좋은 글 같은 거 읽어줘요.
I see. Okay.
네.
Interesting.
좋습니다.
Yeah.
우리도 구독자 사연 같은 거 막 받으면 재밌을 것
Sure.
같은데.
Yeah. Send us some letters. Tell us your story, and we'll read it out. Yeah, that'd be fun.
네, 그러면 진짜 좋을 것 같은데. 근데 잘 안 보내더라고요, 사람들이.
Yeah, maybe that.
네, 뭐 상품을 주거나 뭐 아니면 뭐 진짜 인기가 많거나 뭐.
Right. Yeah, we would have to say, send us your letter, and we'll randomly choose one, and you win some prize or something.
네, 그렇죠. 그렇게라도 해야 뭐 될 것 같은데.
Yeah.
근데 참 우리 구독자님들이 또 너무 다양한 곳에 계시잖아요.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
네.
Yeah, they're everywhere, like in very different
네.
places. So yeah.
그러니까요. 지금 제가 그 한번 그 저희 유튜브 스튜디오 그 통계에 나오는 거를 한번 같이 봅시다.
Mm-hmm.
근데 이게 막 엄청 자세한 건 아닌데 그래도 한번 보면 재밌을 것 같아서.
Yeah, that could be fun.
시청자층을 보면 일단 지난 28일 한 달 통계만 봅시다.
Oh wow.
일단 남성이 77%예요.
Okay. Mm-hmm. about
남자들의
3/4 are men. Yeah.
그쵸. 근데 또 지난 28일이 77%고 전체 기간으로 보면
Oh,
69.8%네요.
huh.
그
Okay.
차이가 없네요.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
네. 그리고 지역을 보면 지난 한 달간
Uh-huh.
지역을 보면 한국.
Mostly in Korea.
네, 네.
By quite a bit. 36%. Okay. Mm-hmm.
네. 그리고 아니요. 36%가 아니라 이건 시청 시간 단위고
Mm-hmm.
36%고 그리고 캐나다. 캐나다?
I wonder if that's because of me. I don't think so,
아니요.
but it's possible.
지난 한 달간
Yeah.
100회, 조회수가 100회예요.
Yeah. But the fact that it's more than USA is unusual to me because the population in USA is much bigger than Canada. So
그렇죠.
it's unusual. I don't know. I don't think it's my fault, but maybe.
네, 그러니까 이게 진짜 완전히 정확한 건 아닐 거예요.
Okay.
네, 그리고 브라질이 있습니다. 브라질.
Brazil. Wow.
네,
Wow, I wouldn't have
그리고-
expected that.
네. 그리고 오스트레일리아,
Uh-huh.
그리고 싱가포르.
Singapore. That makes sense to me. I can understand that. Because English is a little
그리고-
bit common there.
네, 그리고
And it's close to
일본, 태국. 네,
Okay. Yeah, those make sense. Brazil surprises me a lot, but okay.
그러니까요.
That's
네,
cool.
이렇게 아주 다양한 나라에서 듣고 있고요.
Mm-hmm.
근데 또 이 90일, 한 달 말고 90일로 보면 비슷하네요.
Yeah.
네,
Yeah. USA is a little bit higher, but not by much.
네.
Interesting.
근데 뭐 제 의도대로 한국이 제일 많긴 해서
Mm-hmm.
뭐 괜찮은 것 같고요.
Mm-hmm.
네.
That's cool.
네, 그래서 뭐 혹시 뭐 사연 방송 같은 거
Yeah.
네, 저희 하게 좀 도와주실 구독자님들이 계시다면
Yeah.
네,
It-
네, 뭐
That and if you're in Brazil, why are you listening to this? Tell me. I want to know. I'm curious.
그러게요. 그 브라질에 사는 구독자 여러분은
Yeah.
이걸 어떻게 해서 듣게 됐는지 그리고 왜 듣는지
It's interesting. I'm just curious, but that's cool. That's awesome.
네, 좀 잘 알려주시면 저희가 참 감사할 것 같고요.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
그리고 네, 뭐 저희가 뭐 상품을 드릴 수 있다면
Sure, we could come up with something. Maybe
네,
some
기회가 되면.
digital 상품, like digital gift.
디지털 상품
Because we don't have to mail it to Brazil.
그렇죠. 그러면은 상품 가격보다 그 배송비가 더 많이 나올 거예요.
Yeah, something like that.
네. 디지털 상품 아이디어 저희가 한번 생각해 봅시다. 다음에
Steam key? I don't know.
스팀 키, 게임을 선물로 준다.
I don't know. Maybe not everybody is gamers. There might be something better, but yeah.
맞아요. 뭐 모두가 게임을 하는 건 아니니까.
Right. We'll think of something.
네, 한번 천천히 생각해 보고요. 그러면 네, 진짜 뭐 그 짧은 메시지라도 좋으니까 사실 뭐 댓글 남겨주셔도 좋은데
Mm-hmm.
또 뭐 라디오 같은 느낌을 내려면
Yeah, sure. Just like it's a radio program. Yeah, leave a little message. And,
네네 뭐 아니면 그 댓글 남기실 때
mm-hmm.
그 이거 메일 대신 씁니다. 뭐 아니면
Mm-hmm.
뭐 이거 제 댓글 읽어주세요 이렇게 써주셔도 저희가 읽어드리겠습니다.
Good idea. Yeah, we'll do that.
네. 아니 그냥 우리가 댓글 읽기를 해도 될 것 같네요.
We already do that. Yeah.
그쵸.
True.
네.
Yeah.
아무튼 네 그러면 이번 시간은 이쯤에서 마무리 해볼까요?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
네 좋습니다. 그러면 이번 시간 라디오 가지고 이런저런 별의별 이야기를 많이 해봤고요.
Mm-hmm.
그럼 좀 저희는 또 다음 주에 유익하고 흥미로운 내용으로 돌아오겠습니다.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
네. 또 주제 추천은 언제든지 환영이고요.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, suggest topics anytime, and we'll take a look at them. Yep.
네. 저희가 이제 주제 고르는 게 점점 어려워져서 네, 주제 할 게 없으면은 또 저희가 한 몇 주 쉴 수도 있습니다. 주제 고르는 게 어려워서.
Maybe I can make a threat. I'll make a threat. If you don't give us interesting topics, we'll keep doing boring topics like radio.
아 근데 사실 우리 라디오 하나로 1시간 10분 동안 얘기하고 진짜 대단하지 않아요?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we came up with a few interesting things to say about it. So yeah, we did okay.
네, 진짜 뭔가 그 스몰 토크 능력이 진짜 높아지는 것 같아요 요즘.
You're getting better at small talk. That's good.
네, 네.
All right,
아무튼 좋습니다. 그러면 이쯤에서 마무리하겠고요, 진짜로.
let's do it.
네, 그러면 여기까지 저는 하프의 정태웅이었습니다. 감사합니다.
And I'm Jeep. You've been listening to Half and Half, and we'll talk to you next time. See you later. Bye bye.